Little early week podcast here for you guys. Yeah, listen, welcome everybody. I appreciate it. I was going to do this on Friday, and I've got this amazing panel here, guys. It's great to be with these folks. I've been following them for a very long time, as you guys all know. Also, been watching over the past week and change. These guys are all playing Avowed. Some of them may have already beat it. We'll get into that in a moment here. I've got a good amount of time into it. I'm well over the 20-hour mark in the game. I know that others are going to absolutely surpass that number. I want to say shout out to Kratos. I see him out there. I see DeFloyd, JC 2013. Great to see all you guys out here. King is out there. Jackknife's out there. Marsh. All right. And shout out to Mash as well. Great to see Mash back in the house. Guys, I don't know how good tonight will be because I did very little advertising for it. But like I said, I did want to start to do a little bit more on the channel and give you guys more content. And I got this review code. I said, all right, let's start 2025 off on the right foot, right? Let's not tell the audience one thing and then not do that. We've been very consistent with Crossfire, and I've talked to my buddy Rich, who helps me do a few things behind the scenes. Also, let me know, guys, how the audio is. Shout out to Mash. Thank you for the gifted subs. Appreciate that. The gifted memberships, pardon me. Outstanding to have Mash back here. But in all reality, I do want to get more content out there. So I want to have something. Rich was helping me out. We're going to probably do a little bit more, have maybe some different set pieces for the different shows that we're going to be doing. But I wanted to have this review here. I did get the review code. I was very open about that. Xbox and Keymailer sent the review code. And I didn't get it like weeks in advance. You know, a lot of these people that had the review out day one, you probably say, Mooch, if you got a review copy, why are you doing a review now on it? And it's because I got it basically, I believe it was the 4 days or 5 days or 3 days before you could, when you got the premium edition. So I got the premium edition, which I'm very grateful for. But you get that 3 days before it launches, like it did on Game Pass. So, you know, I played the hell out of it. But, that, you know, I got to play enough of it. And like I said, I'll even check my time on the app. And we're going to get to this amazing panel right here. Like I said, we're going to do about an hour and a half here. I want to talk to these gentlemen. Well, this is a big game here. It is a big game. It's Obsidian, okay? They were acquired by Microsoft. It's their big one out the gate. Because, I mean, they had Outer Wilds? But that literally was something that was multi-plat. So this was something that was starting here on the Xbox PC platforms only. We'll see if it ends up being on PlayStation. That's not really where we're going to go tonight. We might dabble a little bit on that. But I don't think that's not in the cards as of right now. Shout out to the great wise old gamer who's on. He says, hey, Mooch, the super chat is working. It's a miracle, guys. I even set a goal, so I appreciate that. I really do, like I say, want to get you guys more content. That being said, we'll do a quick introduction here. The great Crap Gamer Crap. I also saw you enjoying Avowed for many, many days. Yeah. You don't have to get into it right now. We'll ask a few questions in a minute. But how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Yeah, over the weekend I got to finally play it or whatever. It's like I didn't put in for a code because I knew I wouldn't get around to playing it till after it released anyway.
Right.
So, leave that to the people that were actually gonna, get out there and do that stuff. But yeah, it's cool to kind of kick back and, I have a lot of thoughts about it so far. I got, I think about 12 hours into it. So,
that's good. That's good. Honestly,
yeah,
I did find myself, and we'll get into it in a second here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you, guys. I knew it wasn't Outer Wilds. Somebody goes, Mooch, no, Outer Wilds was better. It was Outer Worlds. Thank you, guys. And Outer Worlds 2 is coming out sometime soon.
Outer Worlds is really good. I got to say that, too. I was
Maybe I'll go back and revisit it. I might go back and revisit it. We'll see. Because I am enjoying Avowed. We'll get into that in a minute. Death Singer, great to have you here as well. Death Singer, we pried you away from Avowed. You're probably on your third playthrough. How you doing tonight, buddy?
No, I'm not. I'm still on the first. Because we'll get into it, but the game is. I just love being back in the world because having played Pillars 1 and 2, there's a lot of references and stuff in the game that you wouldn't get. So I'm really, really enjoying it, but we'll get into it.
Absolutely. Jay Barry, listen, I reached out to Jay. I podcast with Jay last week on Solidcast with shout out to Blaze 4K. Had a great time with Jay. Jay, remember we were going to start with a 2-hour podcast. We went about 4 hours that night. So I said to Jay, Jay, is there any way I can bug you for Friday? He goes, Friday's going to be rough, and this, he said, I only got so far. I said, you know what? After I talked to Jay, talked to Crap, SloMo was the only one that really was kind of well through it. I said, all right, let's put this thing off the money. But Jay, how you doing tonight? And I appreciate you taking some time with us this early Monday in the week.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the invite. We're here to talk about, a specific game, which is always cool. I'm here to hear what everyone has to say
Mhm.
about the game as well. I got my few little points on my little opinions here.
Mhm.
Probably put the least time out of everybody in here with this game, but I'm looking to play some more of it in the future. The slow burning it, and yeah. So
No, that's fair.
yeah, happy to be here. We're gonna talk about it and have a good time.
Appreciate that, Jay. Appreciate you being here. And honestly, I do want to get takes from everybody because I think everyone that I've even talked to behind the scenes here has a bit of a different view on this game. Guys, also let me know in the audience, please, how the audio is. Of course, right before the show, before I even got to talk to the panel, the reason I was late tonight was my computer's like, not tonight, sir. You're not going to be podcasting tonight. I was just about to get started, and the monitors went down. I said, what the hell's going on? So I had to restart the computer. That's a me problem. That's a me problem. Nonetheless, do want to say shout out to SloMo. SloMo, a little under the weather tonight, but this is what a professional does. Me and Crap used to say all the time, the show must go on. It doesn't matter if you're hungover, you're sick. It doesn't matter. But the great SloMo is a professional, and he's here tonight. SloMo, how you doing this evening?
I wish I was doing better, but I am here for as much as my voice will allow me to be here. I see there are a few in the chat that apparently don't like that, but they like ball sacks, so their taste is a little off anyway. No, I've got I completed Avowed earlier today. Probably got just under 38 hours in the game total. So I got a lot of thoughts on it. Can't wait to really get into it once we really get started.
Well, I appreciate you being here, SloMo, especially being under the weather. Speaking of that, the great Wise Old Gamers here. Wise, real quick, want to say thanks to you as well. You said you had some things to get done. You said you were going to run a little late. You were actually in the Discord before I even got here. So I want to say that was very encouraging. Great to have you here early. Love the discussion. Can't wait to see what you're going to say as well. Wise, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you for the invite as well. I thought just when I thought Monday's going to suck, well, we're finally going to have a crossfire on Monday, so it's going to be pretty good Monday in my books, I guess.
Great! I'll tell you that much. It's going to be a great Monday right now.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it. So,
outstanding, Wise.
I played it, but I've been having first world problems. I was playing KCD2 before Avowed came out, and then Avowed pulled me away from KCD2, and then I'm a Metroidvania fan. There's a new Metroidvania out called Ender Magnolias, and that has separated me from Avowed. So I've got about 12, 13 hours into Avowed already, but I'm going between Avowed, KCD2, and Ender Magnolia. So I'm playing a little bit of everything.
All right, well, Wise, great to have you here. I'm excited to hear what you got to say. Now, listen, everyone's saying, Wise, you're a little bit low. Wise, much better than when you were on 2 weeks ago. You're very clear now, but it does still sound low. If you can, I've raised your volume and Bari's volume. They were saying Bari was a little low too. I raised Bari up as well, but there's only so much I can do on the Discord end of it. After that, you guys are gonna have to, I think, maybe tweak it a little bit. Shout out to Persona, who's here. And Jay, I don't know who said that. Was that Wise or was that Jay?
Oh no, I was muted.
Oh, you're muted. Okay. I was looking.
Just
want to make sure. The audience is saying they said that Jay sounded a little low, and they said that Wise sounded a little low. While you guys kind of mess with that, I'll start with Death Singer. Death Singer, I'm going to you first here. Here's what I did. I broke this down. I didn't even tell the guys in the audience. I didn't tell the panel this. Okay, I didn't even tell them that. I kind of have, this is the way I'm kind of going by the criteria. If you guys want to write this down or I can repeat myself later, it's not a problem. Story, game mechanics, visuals, graphics, right? Quests, lore, same. RPG elements, first person versus third person, skill tree impressions, and then overall grade, right? So you don't have to answer all those, and I'll go ahead and take those right there, and I'll put them in the Discord so that you guys can see them. But I mean, what I wanted you guys to start with is, what did you think, Death Singer, the story, the lore, get into a little bit of the game mechanics, and then guys, feel free to chime in after Singer goes through. This isn't going to be a roundtable where you're called on. Just chime in if you agree, or if there's something he says you really don't agree with.
All right, so story and lore. I mean, overarching view of the story, it's a good story. It's not Obsidian's best overall. Like if I compare it to their recent games like Pillars 1 and 2, for example, the writing the writing of that story was better. In terms of the lore, I mean, they put a lot of reference in there which is what I hope they do, because it is essentially Pillars of Eternity Light, right? It's a streamlined RPG introduction into the world. Not too heavy on the lore, but like, for example, the intro cinematic.
Yes.
Now, if you play Pillars of Eternity, that intro cinematic, I just burst out laughing because the way they introduced it, I'm like, you are so full of shit, but I kept it moving because you know the truth behind it. And yeah, overall, they did a really good job, I would say, on the side quests, the exploration. The NPCs were pretty good. The whole campfire situation where you get to talk to your companions, that's nice, good interactions, which you want. The combat is phenomenal. I really love the combat. Like being able to just swap on the fly. The spells are good. They feel like they have impact.
Yeah. Is it
I love to play a sorcerer.
Singer, let me say this real quick, though. I do have to say that the combat went from something that the first, let's say, 2 hours, I thought was mediocre, and then it grew on me. And I think the reason that it became it was a lot more fun than I thought, is because you can switch through 2 different handsets, right? You can have a magic, you can have wand, you can have a pistol, you can have a 2-handed I'll call it shotgun, but it's not a musket rifle. You can have, there's various different things. Then there's all sorts of different things like a mace. You could use an axe. But they give you so many different ways to kind of utilize the magic, because you can go through the tree. This is what I think the audience needs to know. You can go through the tree, the skill tree, and load up your wizard, if you will, skill tree, and then go with a completely non-magical, if you will, handset. So you could actually have a pistol, and you can have, like I say, a mace or an axe or something like that. And you don't have to always just utilize your hands for magic only. You can have your magic set up onto your quick D-pad, right? And a lot of people, it's kind of confusing to say if you guys could actually put it into better words. But what I was trying to say is they don't force your hand that you have to go down the magic or wizard, if you will, skill tree. You can separate that.
You can equip like a spell book. It's called a grimoire. You can equip that in one hand, and then when you pull that out, you would then have, like, you could hold left trigger or L2, whatever controller you're using, and then hit another button, and that will do a spell. But then you also, on the directional pad, can actually assign spells there too. So you can kind of do that, as well as have the grimoire in your hand. I did find the combat pretty cool. I ran with a mage build for my first time through the game.
Yep.
I think they had a good number of different gear and the attributes that gear that could give you, that could kind of make your build be whatever you really wanted to be. Probably about halfway through the game, I really was just steamrolling everything.
Yeah.
And then I got this one particular gear piece that gives me, two. I got a ring that gives me higher critical hit chance by how much money I have. And so I would never go to a store and buy anything, because the more money I had, the more critical hits I was doing.
Oh my God.
And then I got a piece of armor that it gives me 2% of the damage I do comes back as essence, which is MP for people who not in the game. So which means that I basically never ran out of MP, and I was just unloading spells on enemies, just spamming it really, and never running out. And it's just like, you can create a build that does that basically makes it like really easy.
So Slow-Mo, a couple questions. What difficulty are you playing on, first of all? And are those 2 items end game items? I just checked on the app. I have about 27 hours I've played. I'm doing every side quest. I'm doing everything. Like, I'm exploring everything. Yeah. But like, is that something you got middle of the game or end of the game? The rings. The
ring I got middle of the game. The armor piece I got near the end of the game. So I wish that was something I could have got earlier in the game. I don't know if there is some RNG involved or if it like specific chests have a specific item and it's always there and it's only there. I don't know because I've only played through and beat the game one time so far. But even before then, I was able to kind of use other pieces of gear that were able to create really good combinations. So I did enjoy that, although I played the game exclusively in third person perspective, and it was serviceable that way. Although I do think animations are lacking, and I understand like Obsidian's a big developer. They got 285 developers, but they make so many games at once that a lot of their games are not like, you're not getting like a AAA experience in each game. It's more of a double A because it's like 60 to 80 people per game working on all their games.
Yes.
And so like animation wise, like the running animation, I was like, I just had to kind of tune it out.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
They run weird.
I don't like the third person view in this game. I feel like I'm fighting the camera. And also I don't think it's built for it. Because I see the animation parts and I'm just like, you know what? I'll stick to what they proposed to me. It's the first person. So I
say first person as well, Jay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like running, dodging, it like the end, there is no. Typically, when you see a game that has like a dodge animation, like it looks dynamic. It looks cool when you see the character dodge out of the way. Like they look athletic when they do it. When your character dodges, it's just like, like I just dodge out of the way. It's not nothing. And then like if you ever jump in third person off of like a long like fall into water, it just looks so awkward. It's just weird. And so it's like I kind of wish some of those things was shored up. But I know we were supposed to talk about story wise, it's a good story, but I expected more from Obsidian. Obsidian has made Knights of the Old Republic 2. Pillars 1 and 2, which people say is fantastic. Those are the only two games of theirs I haven't played, Pillars 1 and 2. But people say the story in those is fantastic. I enjoy the Outer World story. Knights of the Old Republic 2 is a fantastic story. They killed it. The story in this game, I expected more. 5 hours into the game, I already knew the entire story. I could tell where it was going, what it was doing. I knew. And I'm just, as the game went on, I was just like, oh, that's just further confirmation of what I thought this was. Mm-hmm. And then as it went further, I was like, oh, so this is exactly what I thought it was. And then by the end, I'm just waiting to get to the point where I can make the choices I want to make because I already knew where this was going 25 hours earlier. And so like, it's well written as far as like the quality of the dialogue and the words and the voice acting is good, but the story itself, it just left me. It was a little lacking for me, and I expected more from a studio that has written some really good games with really good stories and really good like subverting expectations and surprises. I got none of that with this one.
I know what you mean when you said basically the story, even though there's more to be told on my end, you can see where it's kind of going here. So I'm not more of the critique of Obsidian in the writing. I was going to leave to SloMo, Death Singer, possibly Jay. I don't really want to. I can't critique them to say what they've done in the past. I haven't played a ton of Obsidian games, but there's a couple of super chats here, and I want to see what you guys think here for a second. Shout out to ArchWarAngel. He says, after playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, a top RPG this year, I'm not sure I want to play Avowed. Well, ArchWar, that's where we're going to kind of get into it. If you guys have questions, let me know. Here's a question real quick for somebody.
Nah,
Jay?
That don't make no sense, man. I don't care if you did a super chat. If you played a great RPG, you're going to want to play another one. You know what I mean? I don't get that whole notion.
I don't get that.
Yeah,
well, depending on what he's looking for. No. If he's looking for another KCD2, Avowed ain't it. Okay.
Yeah, but he gonna have to play it to find out.
That's what I'm saying. You got to either play it or...
No, he can save his money. He's not... that is not a KCD2.
But then again, it is heavily disingenuous, right? because they are two completely different games. Don't even put them in the same thing, because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a simulation-heavy RPG.
It's more, role-playing than playing, It's more role-playing than playing,
You are living out the life of this character in the game. Avowed is not that. They are two complete... It's like comparing Baldur's Gate 3 and comparing, I don't know, Witcher 3, right? Two completely different sides of this thing. Both equally great games, but they are completely different in what they want to do. Avowed and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you need to... Don't combine them and compare them. Play them because they are separate entities, and they are both fantastic games.
So, Singer, it's fun, and that's true. And you really can't compare them in an apples to apples. But I'll tell you this much: and Archwar, I don't know if this helps you, but it probably, maybe it doesn't. The world that Avowed that you're in this game, this game kind of speaks to me. I thought that the set pieces, the difference when you go into caves, when you go into any type of cave, or you go into any type of building, they're not just copy paste. I thought they did a pretty good job with keeping the art design unique, fun. The enemies are different looking in different areas, and I don't know. I didn't think that there was a lot of generic copy paste. That's what I was concerned with, and I think that the color palette is unbelievable, isn't it, Jay? I mean, it's gorgeous.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay to compare an RPG. Let's knock this joint off about the different RPGs. It's okay to compare, because people are going to compare. My thing is that if you played a great one and you want to play another one, play it. It shouldn't stop you from playing it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not with the whole, I can't compare this RPG, unless it's like something that's traditionally that's crazy different. You know what I mean? But there's similarities there. You know what I mean? But before we go and go down this rabbit hole, let me just give my quick thoughts.
Go ahead, Jay.
Because like I said, I got about 8, probably 9 hours in the game so far. I'm slow burning it. But I had no expectations for this game. I wasn't even going to get this game at the beginning, because I am not into Obsidian type games like that. You know what I mean? But I was like, you know what? This is a fantasy setting. Let me give it a go. Let me give it a try. And bought it on Steam. And the opening, I would say, I didn't like the opening. I thought the opening was pretty dull. You know what I mean? It didn't captivate me. But after that second big bear boss fight or whatever it is, the game started opening up, and you get to start seeing the bounty hunts and all that stuff. And that's where I feel like the game is really catching me, is doing the side missions and the bounty stuff, because as I'm doing side missions or as I'm going for this bounty hunt or whatnot, I'm seeing things within the world that I'm like, I'm discovering this area.
Yes.
Where I didn't even know I was just exploring outside of this side mission I just did. And I got this Frost axe just exploring the world. And I was like, Frost? Now you got me. Now you talking my language. And anything with ice and, stopping time and all that, I'm like, okay, you got me. I like the fact that the game doesn't really... it's not too I don't want to use the word strict, but I think I'm going to use the word strict as far as the combat. The pistol, there's no ammo to it, but it's tied to your stamina bar. You know what I mean? So I can just go crazy with a pistol.
Yes.
But there's still a limit to what you can do, but it's no I ran out of ammo, let me go buy ammo. Or I ran out of arrows, let me go buy arrows. You're good to go. You know what I mean? It's not too strict in that way. Story-wise, what SloMo just said kind of disappointed me. Because I am a more traditionalist, RPG story. I look for a main antagonist or something that's destroying the world. I was trying to figure out if that's going to be this dream scourge and who's behind it and whatnot. But you kind of give me the vibe that I don't think it's going to go to that level, but we'll see. But overall, I would say this: I'm not a typical person that will put a review score on a game that I didn't complete yet. But I would say I highly recommend playing the game, because, as I said, somebody that's not into Obsidian games like that, this one is kind of grabbing me, because the environment I think is dope. The world is pretty cool. The character dialogue I think is fun as well. When you got the other second dude, what's his name, Marius or whatnot, I felt like the game got a little bit easier getting that second person.
Yep.
But I still enjoy a lot. So I do highly recommend it. I think it's a really cool game. I would love to play even more if it stopped crashing on me. But Yo,
I heard it's crashing. It's crashing a good amount, Jay, on PC. From what I hear, on Xbox, it did once.
Jay, are you playing on Steam?
I'm playing. Yo, bro, Slow-Mo. This game be crashing on me in the weirdest choices. Like I'm in dialogue areas and I would get this fatal crash, Alabama, whatever. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, yo, just
I got
crash.
A few of those, yeah. It started crashing on me more later in the game than earlier in the game. But I also noticed when I switched from the Xbox PC app to Battle.net, I got less crashes on Battle.net than I did on the Xbox PC app. But I did want to clarify my thoughts about the story. You said you want to make sure that you have like a main antagonist. There is a main antagonist. You probably can just figure out who that is pretty quickly.
I guess.
The Dream Scourge is like a big thing, but it's just so like I figured out where the story was going in the very beginning. And if you're like someone who's new to RPGs, maybe you won't figure it out, but you're not new to RPGs. So I think give you another few hours and you're going to be like, oh, okay, so I think I know who I'm going to end up fighting in the end. Or I know what choices I'm probably going to be kind of like thrust upon me at the end.
I don't mind the predictability or like figuring out who's the enemy, but from what I'm hearing, like some of these like Western RPGs, there's a antagonist there, but they're not too like crazy towards the story. You know what I mean? Like comparing it to like a JRPG where this person destroying the world or destroying the earth, and if you don't stop in this time period, it's gonna be done. You know what I mean? Type of shit. But we'll see. But so far, I am enjoying the game. I do like the fact that you can fast travel a lot, and there's no like penalty towards it. I'm not using no supplies to do that, which is cool. But yeah, it's a very arcadey type RPG.
Yes,
and I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. You know what I mean? So I'm liking it so far.
I think when it comes down to
if you're using guns, there's a particular pistol. I forgot the name of it, but there's a unique legendary pistol you can get that the bullets will like bend towards the enemies, like you can't miss. It was pretty interesting when I got it. It's they got some unique weapons there.
Well, wait, so SloMo, since you're
working on a particular build, you can get some really good stuff for it.
SloMo, since you're so far ahead, my question for you is: did you do all the side quests as well, SloMo? Is that where you're getting a lot of these, or these are main quest items you're finding?
Yeah, you get a lot of stuff from side quests, like that ring I talked about, where the more money I had, the higher my critical hit chance went. That I got that ring from a particular side quest of some annoying dude in the third born city who's asking me to deliver a package, and it's just like you complete that quest, you get that ring out of it, and that ring ended up being pretty damn useful. I did enjoy the side quest a lot, even though I thought that the main story was just okay. A lot of the side quest stories are really good, especially the Still Resolve side quest that's like in the second area about the Rangers, and I mean, I'm not going to tell like the whole arc, but it's like there's like a spy among them, and you're trying to figure out who it is, and it's a really like it has multiple steps to it. You go all across that biome trying to get it figured out, and it's well written and well done. And I think they put a lot of effort and time into those side quests to make them good. And the payoff is worth it because you get good gear out of it. Sometimes it's not gear that is useful for your build. And I think when something isn't useful for your build, go ahead, don't sell it. Break it down into materials. I think a lot of people also don't understand how they did, like when you open the chest and you get a bunch of like materials and you're just like, man, where's the weapons at? So what you're supposed to do, or the way they want you to do it, is they want you to take the weapons that you're using for your build and upgrade them.
That's it.
That's the better method
SloMo,
than buying stuff.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, because that's a unique thing. When you're going through, whether it be side quests, and you're trying to find, they have the different variations. Gold chest, they have like that Peruvial, like a purple chest that has some great stuff in it too, right? But my point being here is that it really is the task of you to upgrade your weapon. That's something that they want.
Yes.
So you'll take I listen, I like the mace myself. You've heard me say it a couple of times. The reason I'm saying that is it has a high stun factor. So I've almost got it to a superb, almost. Not I'm a tier behind it. And I'll tell you right now, it's a lot of fun doing that, actually taking the weapons that you try out that you just find that are very low level and you bring them up. Now, that doesn't mean you don't find an amazing, like I have a couple of the pistols, SloMo, that each have their own perks. I've got a couple of rifles have things like that too. I even got a couple of great swords that I found from doing side quests. But I mean, those are already elevated. Those are already gold tier. You can still you still can upgrade them. It's another, and I don't know the word for it. There's another tier to upgrade some of the gold items that you find. You know, it's over in the camp on the left-hand side next to your normal upgrades. It's the item placement right next to it, right there. It allows you to go ahead and upgrade your weapon further when it's I call it a gold weapon, but you know what I mean. It's a prestige item. But I do think that's
right.
So Erica had a question, and I'll throw it out to the panel. This is interesting because I'm not thinking about this anymore because I've adjusted. And I know people who would be critical of the game would say, wait a minute, Mooch, you're telling me you made adjustments because the game is like that? Erica makes a point, and I don't realize it anymore, but I wonder if you guys did. She said, did y'all think the move canceling is slow? She said, I feel it can keep up with me. It can't keep up with me. Like the inputs are a split second too slow, and that can get me, hit. So do you feel like any of the inputs are a bit slow on that? Did you make adjustments?
I haven't noticed the inputs being slow. I do have a problem with the A button or the X button if you're on a dual sense being jump and dash. Like I don't like problem for me because half the time I'm jumping instead of dashing away from an attack or like vice versa. And it's like, I've never seen a game do that before. Typically, you either have a jump with no dash or a dash with no jump in the control scheme, or if they do allow that, they have it on a separate button, or it's a power to dash and it's on a separate, assignment or key. Even if you do mouse and keyboard, you can't assign dash and jump separately as well. Yeah. I have no idea why they did that. That was weird.
I was definitely going to go into that in the combat because this game, it doesn't have like a lock on, like a traditional lock on. It has like a semi kind of lock on, like proximity lock on. And I feel like if you're not looking directly at the enemy, you're going to get the jump. And for me, I like the faster build. So I'm playing like the daggers, but I also got like my secondaries, like the ice axe and then the grimoire book for the like magic. And it feels a bit off. So like when I'm doing the daggers, I like to like jab up and try to get out. I could definitely feel like a little delay there sometimes because enemies are pretty predictable how they're attacking. Like you'll see the animation before they actually like attack. And I know he's about to attack and I'm trying to dodge out and I'm still getting hit because it is like a little delay to it. I definitely feel that. But there's times where, I don't want to jump, but it's giving me jump because it's tied to the same button. And I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, they got. I need a mod or something. It's PC, man. Like we there should be a mod out already to switch that. Or, put it on a different button or something. I have a controller with back buttons. Can I put that on a back button, please? Because it's annoying. It's annoying when you're trying to dodge away and then you jump by accident, or you're doing like some of the parkour and stuff because it's like a bit of a platforming in the environment. And you ended up dashing off a cliff instead of jumping. you can adjust, but when it comes like a mob of enemies, like sometimes going after I'm doing these hunts or whatever they call them, bounties. And there's like a lot of enemies. I forgot the dude's name, like yellow something, right? I'm fighting those guys, and a lot of them can swarm at you. And when a lot of them is swarming at you, I'm trying to dodge out of the way because I don't have no shield. I'm straight. That's what I mean. I'm attack critical. That's what I'm going for.
Same. And
I'm getting jumped. And I'm like, yo, nah, I'm not trying to jump, game. Like, come on, I'm dodging.
Same. Yes, I've had that same thing, Jay. And I'm doing the same thing. I started out with the shield, and I was like, oh, let me go through it like this. I found the game. This is for me. There's probably others that are doing it like magnificently. I found that to be boring. I love the fast action. I'm constantly dodging. And using I use magic 90% of the time, and then the other 10% is just like level up the mace so much that like it is beastly. So like it does its job. Shout out to go ahead, Dessinger.
on the subject of, since you like using magic,
Mhm.
there's a unique item in the game. Robes of Surpassing Brilliance, right? And it gives you plus 15% area of effect damage and plus 40 maximum essence, right? So you have a huge pool of magic to play with, but AoE, right? And then what you do is in the Grimoire. Now you get them later on in the game. They're higher level wizard spells. But what you want is something like a Blizzard, AoE, basically. Blizzard, Meteor Shower, Missile Salvo, Blast of Frost, etc. Now, what you do is just run around, walk up to a group of enemies with that robe on, and you just wipe them. Like, you just walk. You just cast a spell and keep walking. And you just kill everything. And so, there we go. There's a pro tip. If you want easy mode...
Is that the wizard?
Yeah,
it's under wizard, and how far down is it? I mean, how far down the skill tree?
Well, the robes can be found in. I don't know if you've reached the area yet. It's the ancient lake bed in Shatterscarp.
No, I have not.
Well, you can find it in there. And for the spells, it's. Let me see if I remember. Blast of Frost is level 10 in wizard. And then Meteor Shower.
I'm going for an ice build for sure. I'm freezing everybody.
Oh, if you want, then you could go Blizzard, which is a level 5 ability, obviously on Wizard. Then Blast of Frost, and then Meteor Shower is level 20, which obviously But that is only for AOE damage, though. But I was like, when I found the robes.
Right when I think that the game is a much simpler RPG, and again, if not comparing it to Baldur's Gate or anything like that, that it is to that, but the game does have. It does have some depth to it on the skill tree chart. When you agree, Deathsinger, or do you feel it's extremely light?
Yeah, it's not light. It's very concise.
It's concise. Yes.
Thing is, like games like Baldur's Gate 3 and those with like these huge skill trees,
massive. Yeah.
They are just so many options, and you'll be lost for days trying to figure out what you want. And I like that they streamlined this game. Like even in Pillars of Eternity. It is so complex. There's so many different skill trees and gears and setups and what you want to do and how do you perfect your build and everywhere, and everything's huge and fantastic. Whereas this is like, let's cut the bloat out. Let's give you, this is what you get. A little limiting, but it's
would you agree
diverse
the
enough.
difference between these two RPGs is the difference between Ultima and Final Fantasy? The difference between these two RPGs is back in the day, I don't know if any of y'all played Ultima back in the day, but Ultima used to be a very deep RPG, like huge with like stats, dexterity, this and that. Final Fantasy, you get, every so often you leveled up and everything went up at the same time. So it was like, yes, was Final Fantasy an RPG? Yes, it was. Was it a deep RPG? Yes, it was. But was it as deep as Ultima? No, it wasn't. So it's the same situation here as well. So
it's supposed to be a light experience, and I like that because it's quick in, quick out, get the job done. Hoorah! It tells a good story. It's not their best. No one should be telling you. I know you haven't played all of Obsidian's games if you tell me this is their best story, right? I know flat out you're lying.
The worst stories.
Well, no, it's no, because they do have some games.
Grounded, Bleeding Edge.
Yeah, no, but
Bleeding Edge is Ninja Theory.
Yeah, Ninja Theory, but it's like it's a good story.
They are very good storytellers. I can't say this is their worst story, even if
this is their worst story, it's still better than some people's best stories. That's
right. So it's still not a bad story, even if it is their worst story. But Pentiment's story is fantastic, even though a lot of people don't want to play Pentiment because of the game design, right? But the story is fantastic. Knights of the Old Republic 2, fantastic. South Park, they nailed South Park. They make really good stories.
New Vegas.
This one just really kind of New Vegas, but this one just doesn't really compare to what their previous content is.
Oh, Obsidian did South Park?
Yep.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, the Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth.
And generally,
that
that is the big takeaway from this game, and that's
I
what
played
people
the
seem
game,
to
man.
not understand. Is it a good game? Yes, it's a good game.
Mhm.
It's not revolutionary. It's not even evolutionary, but it's a solid good game. If you want a good game, this is it. You know, not everything has to be a AAA 95 percentile or higher game. This is it knows what it is, and it doesn't overstay its welcome.
I think a lot of times, and you know what, I'll piggyback that idea wise, and then I'll ask you a super chat because it's really up your alley here. Shout out to the great T-Rock for the super chat. But I don't usually say this, and Jay Barry might throw a shoe at me. He's close enough. You got to play this game for a bit to kind of like it. And shout out to Mash. He said he threw the number arbitrarily out there, 5 hours. I'm not going to put a number on it and tell you guys. In order for you guys to get a good feel for it, you got to play 5, 10, 15. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is, I think a lot of people on the panel that are enjoying the game will tell you the beginning doesn't start off very strong. And I do think you got to put some time into it. Would I say 5 hours? And listen, for MASH, that worked. But for others, I think that, 3 hours, you got to put some time into it and get used to it. And I was saying this either when the show just started or before the show started. I thought the combat initially wasn't great, and then it grew on me to the point where I'm genuinely enjoying it. And every single turn you take in the game, Jay mentioned fast traveling. Yes, when I'm between doing like wrapping up like the last bounty in an area and I want to just kill real quick, I'll fast travel, get it done, go back, claim my reward. But 90% of the time, I'm walking through the world, and I'm just, every time I see a building or a structure, or if even I see like a camp with like a bunch of enemies, I know that there's going to be tons of loot around there, and that's just what I absolutely love. You guys know that. Anyone that watched me ever stream, I literally am like, I'm like a bug to the light when it comes to like, going towards loot and finding all types of treasures. And thank you, Mesh, for the gift of 10 memberships. I appreciate that. So, Wise, I'll ask you this question, Wise. T-Rock says, and let me put the little prefaces. I had to find out first. T-Rock goes, Mooch, I know for some, he said, myself included, no romance option is definitely a negative for him. So, Wise, he asks here, Mooch, I heard you can't take anyone for between the sheets action in this game. Is that a negative to you in the panel? And then shout out to Eric Hutz, who's here. Erica's here. She says, and then, they're very good friends. He says, I know Erica's missing out, not having a target to woohoo. Listen, shout out to the great T-Rock, by the way. T-Rock, he holds no punches back, guys. If you're fearful of anyone, be fearful of T-Rock. Shout out to the great T-Rock. Appreciate the super chat.
But I just want to say, T-Rock has terrible sense of direction. I just
that I remember. That I remember. But what do you think? I mean,
shout out to T-Rock.
What do you think? I'll go to you first, Wise. Do you think that there's not having romance options in this? Then I want to go to crap after this because me and him were talking about some stuff over the weekend. Wise, not having romance really play a large role in this, unless someone like Death Singer or SloMo could tell us that that's down the road, but I'm not sure.
No, there's no romance option. Hell no, I want to see tits.
There's no romance options in this game.
No, there's no romance options.
Yeah.
And I'm very disappointed because there's a couple of people in there like, oh my God, okay, I could have really.
Which is wild because there's one party member who is like always talking about sex. She's just like Andrea's titties, and she's just like she literally like screams that out all the time, and then she's always talking about how great she is in bed, and it's just like.
I wanted to see it. I wanted to find out. That's all I got to say. Yeah. So
it was interesting that there's just none of that there. But
I'm happy there's no romance options, man, in this game because y'all in the gaming community, y'all too horny, man. Y'all gotta relax.
After 20 years of marriage, I gotta find something to masturbate to. I'm sorry. Okay, there you go.
Damn.
I'm not worried about the romance in the game because it's like I gotta fuck a bear in Baldur's Gate 3, right? I've hit the peak of what romance is in the game. Like, sure, is it great if it has romance? Yeah. But does it need it? No, not particularly. It doesn't. It's like I'm not running around the game going, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I romance this person? I'm like, okay, let me just go through the game. Not every game needs romance. Not every RPG. Like, there's a bunch of good games that don't have romance.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you don't need it. But in some games, they just do it because, that's just something you want to do. And if you don't have romance, you don't have romance. Like, not every game needs to be a romance
what else
game.
could you do with Miranda?
Yeah, but it's also good to have the choice.
Besides having sex with her. I mean, I'm sorry. What other purpose was Miranda? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but then
No,
again,
no.
look at Metaphor versus Persona. Like, you know, Metaphor is still a fantastic game without the I could just romance whoever I want. Like, you know, it's just one of those things.
No, I think it's a valid question because it is brought up in many of the different RPGs that are out there. They really have kind of like baked that into a lot of them. This one not having it as a strong presence, not saying they don't like allude to some, you know, sexual terms, things like that in some of the dialogue, but it really doesn't go past that, at least from where I'm at right now.
It really doesn't. And I will say this: none of the characters, like, I wouldn't want to see my envoy in a romance with. Like, they don't seem that interesting to me to go there with. But like, I kind of liken it to how we talk about in RPGs, like the choice to be evil, especially for Western RPGs, because they really develop that so heavily in a lot of the games. And this was a criticism of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, where basically your character is just nice or sarcastic, and you can't be evil. And I'm not saying I always want to be evil in an RPG, but choosing to be a paragon or be good doesn't mean much when there is no other choice. So it's just like so I say that to say that choosing in BioWare games and other art games that have romance options, you don't have to romance anybody. You can just go through the game and you're just friends with everyone. But there's the choice to choose that or to actually have a romance with a particular character. And it's just not having that choice makes it lesser. If you get my drift here, I'm saying that it should be there as an option for people.
It should be, but I just don't feel like it's missed. Like something like I want to romance these companions. It's like when I compare it to the recent game, the most recent one I played with this in it is Baldur's Gate 3, and it's like Shadowheart, for example. It's like I want to get to know you, I want to get to know your story. You get attached to the characters, and they're like, sure, I'll romance you. I don't get that feeling from Avowed. I don't get attached to the characters like I did in that game.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I feel it's not really missed because it's like if I couldn't romance Shadowheart, for example, I'd be hugely disappointed, but I can. But it fits because you get to know the characters, their backstory, what their motives are, and it's really deep.
You get to know all that in this game. You get to know these people pretty well. You know, stuff that they wouldn't dare say to any other random person. You get to know all their flaws and their backstories and all their deepest, darkest secrets. So it's the same thing in this game. It's just it ends there.
Romances in Kingdom Come and Deliverance 2, and I really didn't dabble with it. So it's a personal choice.
So let me ask this question, SloMo, and then I'm going to go to Crap because I want to discuss a couple of other aspects we haven't hit on yet. SloMo, to play through the game, I think some people will be wondering to know this. What's the runtime to just finish the game? Not 100% the game, but to just enjoy the game, but to run through it, you probably do, let's say you do a quarter of the side quests and you run through the main quests. You're not big into exploring. What's the time you think it takes? A lot of people ask that question. Well, what is it I'm looking at? Because RPGs can range.
I would say probably anywhere between 25 to 30 hours. I beat it in just under 38 hours. I did a lot of the side quests. The only ones I didn't do were the ones where it was like a treasure map.
Yep.
And I got to figure out where that is. I'm like, nah, fam, I'm not going to be just wandering around this map looking for this location. Nah. So those, I didn't do any of those unless I just happened upon it by accident. But all the other like main side quests, the fetch quests, some of the fetch, actually I did all that stuff in every biome, and I beat it in like 37 hours, 45 minutes. And I even think the last part, when you kind of reach that point of no return, that was in itself probably about 2 hours from that to the finish of the game. So
okay,
I actually kind of like thought there would be more, and then I was like, oh crap, this is it. So let me go do some other, there was some bounties I had to do in the last area. So let me go knock these bounties out real quick before I finish up.
I could probably get an idea here without ruining anything for the audience either. So you know how when you go into a new area, the bounty chart or the board is back up with bounties on them? How many of those bounty boards are there throughout the game?
They're in every area, every city or town that's in every biome area. There is
So how many biomes? I guess I should have probably asked you how many biomes are there then.
There is Paradisa, whatever the first city is.
Yep.
There is I can't say the name of that other one with the Animancers. That's the second area. Then there's Thirdborn, which is the third area, and then the last area is Solus. It's a castle.
Okay.
So there's 4 different areas, 4 different bounty boards, and like probably about 5 or 6 bounties on each.
Okay.
So.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm going into the third biome, if you will.
I got to give my takes on this.
Crap, go!
I got to go.
Oh, that's right. Well, Crap, I was trying to keep you here till midnight.
Yeah. It's like
no, go ahead,
so let me get into this real quick because I know a lot of people just like hearing some of the guys talk that are real into these deep RPGs. They're probably just dozing off a bit. Like, listen, if you're a console gamer, if you like the Xbox 360 back in the day, and you like games like Oblivion, if you like Dragon Age, if you like Kingdoms of Amular, a little bit of Fable 2 mixed in there, you'll like this game. They kept it simple. It's Nickelback the game. They threw the hits at you, right? They cut the fluff. They cut the bullshit. Looks good. I played it on the Series X. Looks fantastic. Options for frame rates. I played it on the Series S for about half my time. Looks great. Plays great. No problems. No crashes on the consoles, folks. I played it. It's got some jank to it, but it reminds me so much of a better time in gaming with the 360. It's, like they did it. They kept it simple. They completed this game. They made this game in 3 years. That gives me incredible hope. They could do a sequel in a lesser amount of time. I'm tired of waiting 6 years for games and sequel and things like that. So the fact that they put out this game, don't go into it thinking it's some big AAA, quadruple A thing. It's not. It's like a AA game, just like the Outer Worlds in that way. You know what I mean? Not every little detail is fucking fine-tuned or anything like that, but it is a fun game. It's a good game. It's like I said, it's Nickelback the game. It's got the hits. People are going to try to bash it and say it doesn't got this or doesn't got that. Who gives a shit?
Right.
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't fuck in it. Oh, well. Do that in a different video, right? At the end of the day, game. You know what I mean? There's plenty of them that allow you to do that. It's not perfect by any means. Like I said, I played it in third person because I liked how fucking janky it was, right? With the jumping and the clunkiness. I thought that was awesome. I'm like, I'm playing the 360 here, right? I fucking love the 360.
Well, so that's crap. That's what me and you were saying.
I'm like, it's a 360 game.
Yeah, it really does kind of feel like a and I say that, and a lot of people who are fans of it are going to think that that's a negative. It's not a negative at all. Nope. What it is that it just, the way that it plays, the way that it is, it's open, but it seems linear at times. And in the way that it goes about, and it's that fast, fun way to fetch quest, go out there and do something, come back. I said this to Crap. I said it reminds me of a 360 game, a much more elaborate 360 game with Xbox Series X makeup on it, and it looks good, and it plays well. It really does. I think there is some adjusting when it comes to the mechanics a bit. I will say that took a little bit of time, but now I actually look forward to the combat. I didn't think that I would ever make that comment after I played the first few hours.
It's okay to have criticisms, Crap. It's okay to have criticisms.
I'm not saying you can't criticize it. I just said, obviously you can't do certain things in it. Like you can't kill some of the animals or interact or the NPCs or whatever. It's like, I get the criticism, but it's a solid 8 out of 10 in my opinion. And, it's like a good, I like the old school feel about it. There's multiple, difficulty options, play it through, if you don't got a lot of time like me, like I saw Wart beat it in 20 hours. He got up to level 24. I'll probably beat it in around that time. I'm already on the third area, and I'm like 11 hours in, 12 hours in.
Yep.
I don't, I'm not the type of person that does a whole lot of side questing and that kind of stuff. I like to stick to the main meat of the stories. Mooch knows that.
Yep.
Right?
Well, I noticed because
like,
I started
even
way
in games
before
that
you.
I love,
I started
right?
way before you. I have like 10 or 12 hours more than you, and I noticed when it says the description, when because I see you on there, and it's like he's exploring where I am. I'm like, how the hell did he get up here already? That's because I'm looking.
I don't bother with a lot.
I'm looking under every rock. I'm looking under though. Crap, that's a me problem.
I can understand that. You know what? I also like the fact that it's kind of linear in a way.
I do.
Right? It's like I don't think every game needs to be this big open world thing. Like I don't play Grand Theft Auto because of that. You know what I mean? I've started every Grand Theft Auto, but I've never finished one because it's just like this huge open world thing. It's like I like some of the linear games. I don't think you need to have this big open world in every single game. I think some things that works, but oftentimes people are just like, oh man, it's just is it open world and I'm not interested in it. For me, I like it. I think that for me it gets it done. I'm looking forward to playing it. I think like Microsoft's got the RPG thing down now. You know what I mean? Like I said, this is a good mix of some of that stuff. So if you liked some of the stuff that I mentioned, like the original Dragon Age games, not the newer ones, like Kingdoms of Amalur in particular, Fable 2 sort of reminds me of Oblivion a little bit. Then you'll probably enjoy it a lot. Give it a try, and like at the very least, play it on Game Pass or whatever, and give it a whirl, because you might find out that you really enjoy it. And like, listen, I don't know anything about what this game is based on, so you also could take it for that. You don't need to be caught up in Kingdom Amalur or whatever it is.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, yeah.
Yeah, no, or not that. Like this is a game based in a world.
Oh, I got you.
Pillars of Eternity. Like I know fuck all about that, right? I don't care about that. I don't. You don't need to know anything about it. It's self-contained in the story. It is what it is. Like I enjoyed it. If you guys are looking for a solid RPG experience that keeps it kind of simple, then go. If you're somebody that likes the super intricacies or whatever. Like, here's the thing. I played Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. I couldn't have found a worse fucking game. That game put me to sleep. Okay?
Right.
I like Fable 2, Fable 3, Mass Effect, Dragon Age 1 and 2. Those are the type of RPGs I like. Kingdoms of Amalur was good. I liked Skyrim, Outer Worlds. Those are the type of games I like. And this game really appealed to that. So I thought it was, really cool. I'm glad that it didn't end up being like the full Skyrim rip-off that it originally was going to be, because that version got canceled back in 2021. So they actually had to reboot this game in 2021. It was done by the end of last year. So they really did it in 3 years or so. I think for, what they've done, and 80 rated Metacritic, I think they did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they got that out there, and it's like it is what it is. Like some people are gonna some people are gonna probably hate it, like with most games. Like I hate The Last of Us.
That's blasphemy.
I know, right? It's like I'm in the minority there, but I
Jay.
Whoa.
See, why you gotta get Jay riled up? I know. I do know. I know that.
This is a game that I hope makes some sort of traction in Microsoft's central whatever office, and they greenlight a sequel.
But listen, the cool thing about this is it's not a $200 million game.
Right. That's
right.
Right.
And so it doesn't need that huge return to be a success. And like they're already saying it's a success or whatever. I probably, it's probably done well enough to warrant a sequel. They said they want to do a sequel.
I hope they mean it. I hope said that by Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, well, Hi-Fi Rush was a breath of fresh air too.
Yeah,
man, that was such a good guy. I love that. Man, I smiled my ass off through that entire game. So disappointed with how that ended too. But again, anything
I hope they mean that. I hope they mean that it's a success, because I really do want to see them build off of this. Even though I don't really know where they could go with the story. Maybe it'll be a different area, kind of like how in Elder Scrolls they go to a different like continent or region or whatever. Maybe they'll do that. I don't know, but I hope they continue it further.
I like to see how they iterate on this game. That would be a good thing. How do they iterate on this game?
Thing is that they can, and it's easy because of how expansive. Because bear in mind, they based the game in a world that's already massively fleshed out and established. Right? Pillars of Eternity exists, and there's 2 games with shit ton of continents, shit ton of places that you haven't visited yet. So what you could do is you could base it in there, and you can even capitalize off the story, because yes, it has elements to Pillars, but it's also its own separate story, like what's happening in there. Like if you understand like the animancers and how souls are tangible and you can actually manipulate a soul, it's an actual thing you could touch, you could manipulate with magic, and that's where the animancy comes from. Well, what you could do is you could go deeper into that. You could go, there are tons of different ways you could go with the game, and I know they're going to iterate on these games, because you look at the Outer Worlds 2, Avowed, there'll be a Avowed 2, because they even said, we are not making a Pillars of Eternity 3 right now, right? And so they are going to focus on these two series, which is perfectly fine, because you have your Fallout equivalent, which is Outer Worlds, which substitutes your Fallout, and then you have Avowed, which would be a nice streamlined RPG, and as said, it's not a massive budget game, so the return and time investment, it's 3 years to make. The next one could take 3-4 years, boom, out with the next one. And they have multiple games going on. So that is what they're going to do. So yeah, a sequel is, of course you're going to get a sequel.
In full disclosure, for my own part, I would like another PoE, Pillars of Eternity 3.
So would I, but they already said they're not going to do that. Just
and I get that. But that's just me and you. We would probably prefer that. But for the average person, I think this is a great game. And I think this is like their gateway, if you will, to that whole universe. That like if you are compelled that much with this game and you would like to find out about the lore, then go play the PoE 1 and 2. That it's a phenomenal experience. So,
the thing is that they said the reason why they had to is because Pillars of Eternity saved Obsidian. If those games didn't hit, that studio would have closed the fuck down. Obsidian won't exist because they were indie. They are surviving off the shoestring. They crowdfunded Pillars of Eternity. They didn't even have a publisher. They crowdfunded that shit. They asked people on the internet, "Yo, give us some money, put out a spectacular game." Then they got bought, which is the best thing ever to happen to Obsidian. Please save these people because they deserve it, and they got saved. And I understand why they don't want to do a Pillars of Eternity 3, because that will take a lot longer than an Avowed sequel, for example.
And a Pillars of Eternity puts them in a direct competition with Baldur's Gate 3, which is a big...
Well, yeah, they're all the same thing, CRPGs. It's Divinity Original Sin with Larian.
Right.
Like, they're all in the same ballpark.
Thank God they're not doing that.
Yeah, exactly, because no one wants to play these top-down games, right?
Right. Those are horrible.
So wait, let me ask you guys. Let me ask you this. This was Mike in the chat. He says, I played Avowed for about 10 minutes before the glaring lack of production and attention to detail made me delete it. Game Pass cannot survive these types of games, period. So,
what's going on with gamers nowadays?
What game did he play?
So he said, well, listen, he didn't like it. That's fine. My question though is, the point he brings up though is, this didn't sell, and Singer, we talked about this for weeks, if not months, leading up to this. This is another big title coming from Xbox first party, and it seemingly didn't do insane numbers over the weekend. I saw 12,000. I saw upwards of 19,000 players on Steam. That's not the
truth, though.
That's not the truth.
No, because bear in mind it's cross-buy with Battle.net, right?
Okay.
So now you have to put all the numbers together, right? You have to put Steam together with PC Game Pass, with console Game Pass, Battle.net. Then you have to add all those numbers together to get the full sale of what you got.
Okay, yeah. So Game Pass, I would slightly push back on that one, because to be honest with you, Game Pass, the numbers haven't been going up, right? We say this every single time. Wait till Starfield, you'll see. Wait till Avowed, you'll see. They're not going up. So that number is
push Game Pass,
right.
It's
So
not that kind of game,
right? So people that have Game Pass, yes, they're like Crap said, and a lot of people say, "Hey, I watched a few reviews, and they were like, if you got Game Pass, give it a shot." You know what I mean?
In fact, it was even better with Game Pass, because for $30, you could have gotten the new skin and got it 3 days early.
Well, see, so here's the thing. So player, and guys, tell me if I'm reading this wrong. Maybe I'm not seeing this right. He says, Mooch, Avowed is the 8th most played game on Xbox right now. 8th.
I mean, that's great, but we don't know any concrete numbers on that. Like if the top 3 games on Xbox are like in the millions, but number 4 is like under 500K, and then number 6 is like under 100K, you don't know that,
right?
You know, because you don't have any numbers. It's just a ranking, which is good that it's in the top 10 on the platform, but we can't take that and say, oh, well, this means there's definitely going to be a sequel or it's definitely successful. There's a lack of information in the rest of that. I think.
I would think it would be SloMo. Wouldn't you think that being in the like a new game from one of the big studios, I would assume it would be even better than 8th.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope so, but then it is a RPG, and then depending on the demographics,
that's why
of the
I'm asking.
platform and what games most gamers play. Like a lot of these gamers now, they're just everything is Fortnite, what you call them, Minecraft and Roblox and stuff, and COD and Marvel Rivals. So it's hard to even get into the top 10. So maybe we should be happy it's even at number 8, but it's just without any concrete numbers of how many people are actually playing the game, how many people bought it, how many Game Pass subscription did this provide, and all this information Microsoft knows, but we don't quite know yet. But we'll find out later on. I do want to say though, for the person that had the thought of like they played for 10 minutes and they uninstalled it, I do wonder, and I'm not like judging this person. If they didn't like it, they didn't like it. That's fine. I played Dustborn for 30 minutes, uninstalled it, and I want my money back. I think that game sucks.
You don't have to judge that person. I'll judge him for you. It's a fucking RPG. What are you doing in 10 minutes besides making your hair? This
is my question for them. Right, this is my question.
He's still on the beach, bro.
right. My question for them is, what were you expecting to see in that first 10 minutes that you didn't see?
Right.
Because I mean, like, you don't know the story, you don't really know the combat. You did the character creator, that's great. You don't know the premise of the game. You really don't really know anything in 10 minutes. And I mean, I don't think that's not enough time.
I don't think the opening in this game is strong, in my personal opinion. But we gotta stop. We gotta stop this BS, man. 10 minutes in a game, and then you have this strong opinion like that. It's a
fucking RPG.
That is BS, man. At the end of the day,
go ahead.
Especially like I don't know if you're playing it through Game Pass. Like I don't see what's the issue with even just trying it out for an hour or 2 hours and then gauging an opinion off of that. But 10 minutes, the fact that you type that in that chat and we talking about that is crazy to me. That's be honest.
There are people who will play a game just so they can say, I played it, and that therefore makes my opinion valid, which I hate it, which they do the minimum amount of time, and it's just like, sorry, that's just not good enough.
My question to the guy is, does he even play RPGs to begin with? If you're going to play 10 minutes...
Well, that's it. You have to know, we don't know the context of what everybody's saying in the chat behind what the chat is, you know what I mean, what he typed in there, but... I think
Mooch, take it from somebody that, like I said, I don't play Obsidian games like that, bro.
He doesn't play Obsidian games.
I'm a big RPG guy, but I don't play these type of RPGs where they have like this strong, super opinion on it. But I was like, this opening is weak as hell. But you know what? I typically, when it comes to games like this, like I said on Twitter, I give it 10 hours. And then we go from there. And I'm like 8 hours into the game, almost 9 for looking at Steam. Yeah, I'm liking it. It's a good game. Yep. I listen. The game is coming on Play. Let me speak from the heart for a second, Mooch. I know what the PlayStation fans want to hear. The game is coming to PlayStation, man. You know what I mean?
Pro enhanced too.
It's gonna be magically a good game when it gets there. Listen, I'm telling you,
man,
it's a good game, man. You're gonna like it. It's a cool game. Okay.
If it's an 8 on Xbox, it's gonna be a 9.5.
It's gonna go up one whole point. It's gonna go up one whole point when it goes on PlayStation. Is that what's going on?
That's what happens typically. You know what I mean? Where the game is not on the platform you like. Everybody's had these strong opinions. Oh, the animations, which I think those are strong, like, critiques if you play the game. But once it comes to the platform, like, yo, you know what? This wasn't that bad. Why didn't nobody speak about this? You know what I mean? Like, that's what typically happens.
I wanted to wait till
to Barry's point. Like I give everything 10 hours. I gave Horizon Zero Dawn 10 hours, right? Got 10 hours in, and then I uninstalled it. I was like, this ain't for me.
I kick you.
No,
in your
no,
shit,
no, no.
lucky you
I
cross
don't
the
care.
pants.
No,
You're
no, no. Because 10 hours was enough for me to get a feel of the game. I was like, okay, combat's cool. This is cool. Aloy's a wooden plank. I'm out. So
you know what? Let me stop you right there. I don't understand how you like games like Avowed, Pillars of Eternity, all these deep dialogue games, but for some strange reason, Horizon is boring.
He doesn't like those fat asses.
Yeah,
that's the problem. He doesn't like looking at a fat ass for 50 hours. That's the problem.
Boring.
Horizon is like Witcher 3.
No.
Oh no!
Yes, it is.
Barry, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Side missions,
Don't do that to Witcher.
It's very
I support you, buddy.
No,
that was a fucking pull. I don't know where you pulled that out of, but that was a fucking pull.
I beat Horizon Zero Dawn. I thought the story was okay, but I did think the first like 10 hours I was forcing myself through it until we get to the good parts. Horizon Forbidden West. I had to drop it. Like I was like, yo, I kept falling asleep during the game, and I'm just like, look, I could be playing something else.
And don't forget about that.
Don't
forget about that stupid ass game that they have, the mini game that was the chess variant in that game.
I thought Horizon Forbidden West.
That was
I'm surprised people think Horizon series is boring. The way how much gameplay in that shit, the way the story, the side missions, how is that? There's no way I can see somebody be like, yes, I love the Witcher.
They took the
writing. My favorite games, but there's no way I listen. I put hundreds of hours in these games, and when it comes to structure, I'm not talking about every little nooks and cranny detail. When it comes to story structure, side missions, whatever open world, it's not that different. I don't know how people can say this is boring and this is fun. It's weird to me, in my personal opinion.
Let me address this, right? The difference is, I play Geralt. I play Aloy. To the protagonist you are forced to play. The whole game is centered around these two characters. Geralt has a personality. Aloy doesn't have one.
We packing them up.
You like looking at Geralt's ass more than you like looking at Aloy's
he didn't play the game, y'all. I doubt,
Aloy,
Singer, you even put 10 hours in Horizon to say that statement. That's the typical statement that they like to say,
Barry,
but it's
Barry,
false.
You want to bet? You want to bet, Barry? You want to bet 10 hours in it?
You don't have 10 hours of gameplay on that. You probably say the menus.
How much you want to bet? I don't have 10 hours.
Bro, there's no way somebody says Aloy doesn't have a personality. That's a complete utter lie. Aloy is one of the most savage characters, most attitude-driven, most attitude-giving characters in here. And there's no way.
It's not a personality that I was interested in looking at, but that's a different story.
That's something different than saying the character is boring. You don't like her personality, but saying that she doesn't have one is complete. That's false.
She has a personality. I don't think it's a very
more than her personality.
Okay, I'm not really. I don't really care about her ass, but she has a personality. I don't think it's a good personality for a main protagonist. I have 49. I just double check. I got 49 hours in Horizon Zero Dawn. My favorite part story wise of Horizon Zero Dawn is when you go into the old company's headquarters and you find out like what happened to the old world before. That was fantastic. If they made a TV series on that, I will be there watching that every single week.
They are.
That's the best part of Horizon is that part where
not to deviate, right? But you can't be like that's the best part because the same people that you watch in the cutscene is who Aloy is. She acts the same way as Elizabeth Sobek. So if you like that, how you don't like this character when she's the same attitude in this world?
Elizabeth Sobek was like the most interesting thing she did was she told the CEO to kick rock. It was one like the most interesting thing that she did. The CEO himself is super interesting. All the other people who made the AIs and were creating all the stuff to kind of like help humans learn things, and they did all that other work in the bunker to kind of like bring what was lost to the new world. All those characters are awesome. The dude who coded everything, great. Like all the cutscenes, I was like engrossed in his conversations. And he's dead for like hundreds of years, right? And I'm engrossed in all of that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Aloy is the people that you're saying is interesting, but she is that same person, but in this new world of Horizon Zero Dawn or whatnot. She acts the same way Elizabeth Sobe. All in them cutscenes, Aloy's acting the same way with the people that she's interacting in this world. She's legit the clone of the same person. Same attitude, same everything. So that's why I'm confused when people say, "Oh, this person don't have no personality," or she's like this and this. And I'm like, "Wow, what are you not paying attention to?" She's the same shit. She's the same character.
I feel what you're saying, Bart. I think the difference is that like in the cutscenes where it's more of like you're watching or retelling what's already happened versus say you're Aloy and you go into a town and then you talk to an NPC and the NPC's like, oh, the machines, took my husband and now I need someone to get him, and she's like, okay, all right, I'll go do that. It's like. It's different because it's like, and maybe the issue isn't so much Aloy herself, but how the writers write her in all of the other like scenes where it's not just here's what happened and here's all the interesting things that were great in the grand story arc, major plot point stuff that happened versus her all the time. Like, for example, in Horizon Zero Dawn, when that like king dude, whatever his name is, the guy that runs the sun area, right?
Oh, the one she friend zoned? The one she friend zoned?
Yeah, that was great, right? Because he was like, hey, I want to make you my concubine. And she was like, nah, fam, that ain't happening. I love that part. But I was like, damn, this is 17 hours in, and now Aloy finally said something that I thought was dope. And it was just like, it took 17 hours for her to get to the point where she finally told the dude to kick. Nah, fam, I ain't going to be your concubine. It was funny.
You notice that, like I said, a lot of the past cutscenes or audio files, like everything Elizabeth has done because she's so driven and focused on her work, Aloy is like replicated in her story. Like the same thing that happened, like people made advances, or let me take you on a date, Elizabeth. She turned him down. Aloy did the same thing with the king and Sun King, and with the other
Sun King. That's his name, yeah, Sun King.
Yeah. I said before the show.
I'm a Horizon fanboy. Def Singer, you triggered.
I was just gonna say. So we have a situation here.
The thing is, though, it's just the same way. You like Baldur's Gate. I'm a Baldur's Gate fanboy, and it's like if I go bar for bar with Horizon, no contest. But
can I ask a question to everybody here? And this is just a thought. I mean, Mooch, do we have time?
We got time. I wanted to ask one more question related to Avowed, and then get a final overall grade from everybody. But go ahead.
Yeah, my question is this. Well, there on online there is a certain faction of people that I've encountered that have not played it or have only played it 5 or 6 minutes. This game Avowed, and they're so eager to hate it. Or they want to hate it. Now, my question is that seems like a weird response, but how much of that is from the backlash from that art director? How much do you think some of the palpable animosity or dislike that some people are having about this game is also sort of foundationally from the art director and all that stuff that he said?
I'll be honest with you. I think when it comes down to it, I mean, the negative criticism I've seen is been solely on the game itself as of its release date. I haven't seen that since before. That was before. Wasn't that a long time ago? I don't even know what he said.
What was the question?
I don't exactly remember what he said. Go ahead.
No, what was the question you asked?
I said, how much of the disdain or wanting to dislike this game is coming from the fact of all the vitriol that was said by the art director during the development? Remember, there was like that huge thing. He had said something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like almost like borderline racist or something. I don't know what it was, but there was a backlash.
Was it something in regards to Elon Musk? Was it? I can't remember.
I think it was. Wasn't it something to Elon? I don't know exactly.
This was like last year. It was like in October or something.
Yeah, but it was like after the direct when we saw the actual gameplay, and then it was like I don't know, something like that. Yeah, but it was late last year.
I don't remember.
I don't know what he said.
I don't remember the exact comment, but I don't know. I haven't seen anybody mention
No.
Go broke losers. Like I haven't seen them talking about this game. I'm pretty sure they are, but like a lot of the criticism I've seen has been about the game itself.
Yeah, that's what I say. The majority of the criticism I've seen has been issues with the. Listen, we're enjoying the combat, but I've seen a lot of people say that they don't care for the combat, and I can listen. Go ahead, Dessinger.
Something just the chat was saying, especially Brian. I just have a hate boner for all PlayStation first-party games. No, because I'm loving Ghost of Tsushima right now. So that's blatantly not true.
There you go.
It turns out if you actually give me a game I'm interested in, I'm going to give you a fair shake. If you give me a The Last of Us, which I really don't care to play, you're not getting my money, you're not going to get my playtime. So give me something I want, and I'll meet you.
Well, I think
that's all there is to it.
I think what it comes down to is like that's why there's so many different genres. There's so many different types of games, right? Like Singer loves his top-down game, right? You know, he loves us. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I wouldn't like one. I think that maybe I haven't played one that I haven't enjoyed yet. That may be possible. I just think when it comes down to it, that's why there's so many different types of games out there. It's hard. A lot of times, all of us, too, I say this all the time, you know, Slow-Mo, Wise, Jay, Dessinger, you guys have been doing this for a very long time. And games come out, and, like, you're not going to like all of them. Like, and I don't mean the quality of the game. I mean, you yourself are not going to like all of them. You know, majority of people aren't first-person shooters and fans of RPG and top-down and... You know,
racers and
racers, and then Balatro card games, and then stealth, and then some of them are, you know, just high action. It's like it's you're not going to like them all. So I mean, you are getting a vast of opinions of sometimes people trying to step out of their comfort zone, and then they'll say to you, "Listen, I tried it, I didn't like it." So, you know, Singer, to defend you, you know, you said you tried Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West for 10 hours. You didn't like it.
He didn't try it.
Jay.
Yo, listen.
No. I did try it because if you listen to Scumcast, you know that. I tried it. I tried it because
hey Singer, there's a simple way to fix this. You go to Steam, you go to the game, you screenshot your time in the game.
That's right,
and then that's that. So unless you do that,
they be padding that slow-mo. They be padding that.
Hey, slow-mo. You know what's crazy about that? This came up on Scumcast quite a while ago, and I did the exact same. And I posted the screenshot on Twitter, and guess what? Fucking crickets. See, this is the thing. It's like people were telling me this is a great RPG. So I was like, you know what? Sure, it came to PC. I'll give it a chance. Gave it a chance. Didn't click. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm outie. And it is what it is. It's like if I told you go play Pillars of Eternity, you'll probably look at me and tell me to fuck myself. And that's fine. But, you know, each to their own. I mean, some games just won't float.
You saying that you ain't like the gameplay of Horizon either?
Oh no, the gameplay was
cool.
The gameplay is
fire.
The gameplay was really good.
What the hell are you not supposed to like with fighting a robot dinosaur?
The thing is, my problem was just Aloy didn't connect with me. No, and that's perfectly fine. Like a main protagonist doesn't.
It's okay. It's okay, brother. Listen, it's okay, brother. Listen, I understand. I understand.
Hey, Barry.
Okay, you ain't tried. It's cool.
I know what.
You still my brother. You still my brother from across the pond.
Actually, Barry, I have a question for you. Did you try Pillars of Eternity or Baldur's Gate 3?
I did play Baldur's Gate 3.
Did you try Pillars? Did you finish Baldur's Gate 3?
No, I have. I didn't finish Baldur's Gate 3. I do like Baldur's Gate 3, but it just came out at a bad time where a game that I anticipated more that took my time away, and I just never got back to it. So that's all.
Barry, I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to solve all these problems here right now. Deathsinger, I'll tell you what to do. Okay, I know what you're looking for.
He tried to rope with dopamine. He tried to catch me.
No. What I'm telling you, I'll tell you what. There's this lady who does cosplay as Aloy, and she has an OnlyFans page. If you need it, just let me know. I'll DM you. There you go.
Well, Wise saves the day again, everybody. Shout out to the great Slow-Mo who's super chat out there. He says, hit that like button, guys.
It was Grand Blue. It was Grand Blue that came up. My bad.
That's all right. That's all right. Shout out to Lone Wolf. He's had some good points here. He says, I love this game from the jump. He says, I think the tutorial is one of the best I've ever experienced. I'm glad he at least followed up with this. He says it gave us access to nearly every weapon type to try. that's something we've said. I do enjoy the way that they have you go through the weapon system. Go ahead, SloMo.
I just checked my Steam, and Singer is a friend of mine on Steam, and I'm just looking at my Horizon Zero Dawn complete edition page, and friends who play the game. Singer is there. Says he's got 3 hours.
Listen,
there you go, Singer.
Listen, bro. Listen. One thing. Listen. I know. I got a reputation out here on YouTube and Twitter, but one thing I know is video games. And if I play a game, I got 200, 300 hours in the game, and I hear you talk about that game, I can tell if somebody really played that game. You can't fool these eyes. You know what I mean? But Singer, that's my guy. That's
Listen,
my guy.
Singer,
there is actually a reason for that, and someone knows. It's called $3.99. But anyway, if you don't understand $3.99, then you don't PC game. But yeah, it's because you need to have a taster first and then buy the game. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. A free taster is what people.
I see. Well,
and here we go. The chat's gonna go crazy now.
Now they're gonna. They are absolutely gonna go in on that part there, Singer. Shout out to Lone Wolf too. We were having the discussion about.
I'm the best at what I do. What I do is not very nice, okay? But I'm very good at what I do. I can see through a lot of things, man. Don't let the list fool you. Well, go ahead, my bad.
Don't let the list fool you. Shout out to Jay Vardy. Shout out to Death Singer. Lone Wolf says we were talking about this earlier.
Hey, real quick. Hey, chat, don't get upset about his 3 hours if you weren't upset about the other dude's 10 minutes in Avowed, okay?
Don't do that.
Don't get upset with the 3 hours because I have 2 copies of the game. I'll just put that out there. So yeah, don't get mad at the 3 hours.
Mash has
more. I'm more upset that you are leaning towards the pirate life than the 3 hours.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
That's
come on.
The problem is Singer needs that turn-based gaming. He cannot do live action gaming. So the problem with Horizon Forbidden West is that freaking Watcher thing, they kept killing him off over and over again. He couldn't pass the first Watcher. That was the problem. That's why he said, fuck this shit.
No. See, a lot of live action games, that's not true, because Witcher 3, Cyberpunk, etc. I'll go down the list if you want. So no, it's not that. It's just, you need to have a try. You need a sample, and I received my sample. It's my right as a PC gamer, so,
So shout out to Mash. Mash, thank you for the gifted memberships as well. He goes 3 hours. He goes, can we get an emoji that says 3 hours? I'll have Rich try to work on that starting for this week. That's outstanding idea, Mash. And Lone Wolf was chiming in earlier, and I apologize. Lone Wolf wrote this a while ago when we were talking about the different romances. He says if you try, he goes, you actually can romance Kai if you try, guys. Which I did not know that. I'm not that far enough in the story. I actually just found out a little bit about Kai, so I did not know that. So shout out to Lone Wolf. I appreciate it.
That's one thing I'll talk about this too. Like my
they do have the romance built in. You just have to you gotta, I guess, censor towards that. It's not like in Mass Effect. It's not like in Baldur's Gate where it's right there or the options are just present and it's like you can go in any direction.
I mean, that's weird. I beat the game and I didn't see that. So.
I didn't. Yeah, where I'm at in the game, I didn't see that either. So I said, I'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Shout out to Lone Wolf for letting people know. Thank you.
My cons with the game so far. I feel like, and this is me being early, still in the first area.
Yeah.
Enemy variety, weak. There's a lot of bears out here, man. Let's.
All right, the bears. Yeah.
And yeah, the AI. Companion AI, man, not very smart. When you get in like a group of like a lot of people, they be going down quick, bro. I'm like, yo, come on, man.
You're not wrong.
They stay in the fight. But that's it.
Did people spot the references to their other games in there?
Mm-hmm.
Like the quest with the courier, which is a shout out to New Vegas because the main character is the courier. Anyone do that quest?
What's the name of the quest?
The Courier. The Wasteland Courier quest. And it's a complete reference to Fallout New Vegas because it's in a wasteland. New Vegas is in the wasteland. And then, obviously, the Courier is the main character of Fallout New Vegas, if you've never played the game. You wouldn't know that, of course. But
That
yeah.
was it?
I just thought it was a
wasn't that
fantastic little nod to New Vegas.
Wasn't that
That's
earlier?
all.
Wasn't that earlier in the game though? Like beginning
It's
quarter?
It's a
third?
Third born.
Okay. Oh, okay. Then no. Then I did not get to that yet. I'll say it sounds familiar, but
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't.
side quest. I just thought it was funny because
Well, that's
I was like, I see what you did.
That's very cool. It's good when a company. I like it when Naughty Dog does that. I think a bunch of Insomniac does that. That's kind of cool, to be honest with you. I like it when
I like that too when games.
You know, shout out to Lord Metroid. He says, "Don't fret, everyone. Switch 2 is near April 2nd." Shout out to Lord Metroid, big Nintendo fan, by the way.
Amen. Yeah.
Shout out to Lord Metroid. Well, we're gonna hear about it on April 2nd, but we're not gonna get it in our hands till June or July.
You can get it now for $40,000.
Well, there's that. That is an option. That's always an option. Wise. Shout out to Babor Country. We can start the show now. He says, PC. B-tier games versus 32 million selling 2 games Horizon series.
Huh?
But
I'm gonna keep it professional, Babor, but that's all I can say.
I'm gonna keep it professional. I will say
them Bears.
So Jay, honestly, I do have to say, Jay, you made a good point. When it comes down to it, that was kind of my critique when I said the 360 game, right? Like a lot of times, if you take off, it definitely looks better than a 360 game. So guys, don't over exaggerate. It's a great looking game. I love everything they did with it. I do. I love what they did with the worlds. It's fantastic. But at the same time, I do have to say, your companion AI is not great at all. Not great at all.
I'm not saying not great. I just wish it was a little bit smarter.
Well, how about the stealth?
They go down a little too much.
But how about the stealth element?
The bow and arrow
right?
it's kind of good though.
You got the stealth element, and the stealth element. I'm behind you, hide behind a massive rock. You're trying to get that first. You get that first like backstab. You get that first one in there, but like you're seen from 7 miles away.
Alerts everybody. Yeah,
alerts everybody right away. Everybody turns from it goes white, yellow to red in a split second. I'm like, all right, so. I just go into fights now, just guns blazing. I do occasionally get a good, one that's like far out. If there's one enemy far out, I'll get that one. But when you go in, you're seen, and it's like, all right, this is just kind of one of those things. It's just it is one of those things where I think that the game is good, and we made some good points tonight. I'm kind of glad you guys said that. Jay, you said it. Death Singer said it. Crap brought it up. Wise and SloMo, like you guys all kind of said, like the game doesn't have to be, a quadruple A. $280 million game or $500 million game to come, you know what I mean, for creation. It can be a game like this, and it is beautiful. It's got tons of quests. There's a plenty of lore that can build off of it, and they were able to turn it around in a short period of time. I think overall,
I got a little funny joint with
go ahead, Jay.
Stealth joint, right? So I was going for the bounty hunts against the yellow band gang, I guess they call, and I stealth killed one of them. It alerted everybody, but I ran real quick to the grass. So it went yellow, but it went white. So they didn't see me, but they saw this dude Kai, and Kai's behind me the whole time. And they just wailing him with bow and arrows. Wow, I'm not seeing his health go away. It's like, I'm getting hit. I guess I should heal. I'm just like, yo, but they don't see me. I'm like, yo, this is funny as hell, bro. You know what I mean? And the other thing is performance-wise, I feel like it could be much better. I've played more optimized games where it's kind of weird. Like it could just be you and your companions walking in the world, and it's dipping down to 40 frames. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what for what? Like I don't see. Not like we in combat or nothing like that. But it's just weird how performance can be with this game. But other than that, and the crashes, it's a pretty cool game.
So I'm
that sounds like traversal stutter, or traversal loading in if you say you're just walking around with your companions and when it drops to 40, is that like it drops to 40 for a second, then goes back up? Because that usually happens when
it would stay there. It was because funny joint. So the little camp where you go to sleep and you can upgrade your equipment. I'm looking. I'm in there with a camp with Kai. This is before I even got the other dude. And I'm like, why is it dropping to 40 frames here? Like, what I mean? It's like a closed off area.
Yeah, it should be loading very. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
I'm playing
to your point with the companions, I streamed this yesterday when I was streaming, and it was so funny. I was doing a part where they had all these traps, and it was like this scythe that kept coming around and trying to cut your ankles. I made it past that part, but Giada, for some reason, just wouldn't leave. And so I'm moving on, and I hear her going, ow, ow. And I'm like, I look back, and she's just standing there, just getting her ankles cut up. And I went back there, and I just looked at her, because she won't move. And I'm just staring at her. I'm on the stream. I'm like, y'all look at this foolishness. Like, she won't move out of the way. And there's all the traps. They kept getting caught in the traps. They were getting burned alive and stuff. And I'm just like, y'all can't just y'all not even trying to avoid this stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but it was really funny.
That was one of the things, is the AI. But I understand some of the performance issues. I mean, to be fair, they actually did a good job considering they're using Unreal Engine 5. So the fact that you're willing to use that engine and you actually made a pretty good performing game. I mean, that's something in of itself, because if you look at the previous attempts at making Unreal Engine 5 work, it ain't exactly the best. But I mean, the AI they need to improve on. But I would imagine this is a very limited budget game. What would you put the budget on this? I'd say 40 million?
I think it's more than that.
50 million maybe?
More than that.
I think it's more than that.
I would say definitely under 100, but more than 40. I think it's more than 40.
Yeah, I think
okay, so 40 to 100, but so I mean, I'm pretty sure they would have made their money back. Also, generally, when Obsidian says a game's a success, I believe them, because they've never lied about it. Because if they've won a success, the studio would have closed. They don't generally lie about it. If someone from Microsoft's Xbox said it, I'd look at them with the side eye. But if it's this person Obsidian, I'm generally going to believe them that it was a success for them. Because they said the same thing about Pentiment, which was made on the budget of a pack of chewing gum and a shoestring. So,
yeah, I mean, when it comes from any of Microsoft or their acquired studios or their original studios, it's just hard to tell what they're saying. You get mixed messaging, right? Everybody said that Hi-Fi Rush was a success. Everybody said it, and then they were like, well, we needed it to do better. Okay. It's I don't, with Xbox, that's the thing. People say all the time with Game Pass. Game Pass is, it's climbing up. When? Where? Because believe me, Xbox would talk about it if it was.
If they tank this game if they tank a sequel because this game didn't sell enough,
I think they
wholly accept.
I think they got, in my personal opinion, I think when you look at the numbers, this and that, and I think that especially a lot of people said that, Avowed kind of got cheated because it was between Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds. You could say that, but people have been jonesing to play a game this year, right? And I also think part of my fondness towards Avowed is it hit at the right time. It hit at the right time. I'm on the fence about picking up Monster Hunter Wilds because honestly, Monster Hunter for me, I love it. I played Monster Hunter Worlds for a tremendous amount of time. But the thing is I had a buddy of mine that was really committed to it, and it was fun to jam out. If no one's gonna go through and run through Monster Hunter Wilds with me, I'm not gonna do that one solo. This one here solo is as you can only play it. It's fantastic. I really think it hits that. What do you say? It itches that scratch, right? It really, really does do what I want it to do for this period of time right now. And I mean, I get SloMo. You're probably in my camp here. I mean, I'm playing Warzone. I'm playing I play Call of Duty, and I play this. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm going back and forth between those two, and I get my first person shooter itch out there, and this is really kind of doing the RPG side of it right now. And the world is gorgeous. You do have to get used to some of the combat. You do have to deal with some of the. Jay Barry kind of knocked it out of the park with the AI discussion there. It's weak. It's not great. There's certain areas too early in the game, guys. Some of you ran into this. You run into a certain area where it didn't have the little skulls next to, the skulls are supposed to be if you're going into an area that's a little bit more difficult than maybe your level is at. I went into some of them where there was one skull or none, and I went in there and there was 7,000 enemies. They just kept coming. I don't know if you guys fought that skeleton. It's that evil skeleton that's underneath the It's kind of like underneath.
Oh yeah. There's a meteorite in a lake.
You get like a two-handed sword or something from. Anyways, like I went there and I'm like, this is crazy. Like this is like I had it.
They don't stop coming.
They do
as
not
long
stop
as
coming.
You hold that item.
Yes.
Oh,
they're gonna keep coming at you.
Yes.
Unique weapons, like how to get. Because some of them is pretty cool. Like I said, the ice axe that I got went through like a little cutscene, got a new ability, picked the ice weapon up, and then a whole bunch of like skeletons came at me, and these dudes could take some hits. I was like, oh damn, these dudes are pretty leveled up, man. You know what I mean? So it took me a while reviving Kai, multiple times, but we got it. We got the weapon.
Well, so so this is interesting because we got two different these last two super chats here. These guys, two different perspectives here, and I've known ArchWarAngel for a while. ArchWar, hear me out. He says, I'm sorry, but the more you guys talk about the game, the less I want to play it. So there was a few top level reviews I watched, and then it got down to, if you don't have Game Pass, should you run out and go spend $70 on it? I would say to ArchWar, if you do have Game Pass, and I hate this slogan. People say it all the time. If you got Game Pass, well, you might as well give it a shot. Okay, well, so give it a shot if you got Game Pass. But let me ask you guys on the panel, is this a $70 buy? If you were intrigued by it, you do want to play it, you want to give it a shot. Is this something you go out and spend $70 on? Is it a sale?
Yeah.
Or so Singer, you're saying yes, $70 easily.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pay 70. Of course.
Well, I know you don't.
Shout out to CD Keys, but the thing is, it's like for the price and what you're getting.
Yeah,
I'd say it's well worth it. It's well worth your time because there's some $70 games out there that are definitely not worth your time. So, I mean, as far as it goes, yeah. I mean, if you're really unsure, do the whole wait for a sale, because the sale will come around real quick, and then pick it up on sale. But, I mean, I'd say it's worth 70. I'd say it's worth it.
Okay, Jay Barry, what do you think? $70 sale, or do yourself a favor and get a $10 or $15 Game Pass for the month and play it?
Yeah, like coming into the game, I thought the game was going to be like $50, to be honest with you. But I actually spent more than $70 for this game, because I got the
early edition,
the early edition, with the soundtrack and all that. Listen, I go all out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, like so far, I feel like, I don't have an issue paying $70 for this game, because I base that more off of like enjoyment rather than content. Some people base $70 off of like how much content you get and how long the game is. And this is a game that has a lot of content in it. So if you base it off of that, I think you're going to be good to go. But for me personally, I think the game is enjoyable. I think majority of the people that, if you go out and play it, you'll like it. So $70, I don't have an issue with it being $70. I think it's worth it.
Okay, SloMo, $70
if you don't have Game Pass or whatever.
Right. I mean, if you're paying for Game Pass already, like, contrary to what people will tell you, if you're paying $20 a month for Game Pass right now, it's not free. It's not free.
Yeah, it's not free.
It's not free.
No, it's not free.
So SloMo, what do you think? $70 or no?
I've always said that value is subjective, and it is determined by what you personally value in a product or service or whatever. I did play this through Game Pass because I have Game Pass. But if I didn't, I would, after completing the game, I would spend $70 on this because I had a good time. I think it's a good game. It's not a great game, but it's a good game. And I will spend full price on a good game and a good experience. So it's worth it.
Wise, what do you think? $70?
Well, I think this way because if you're into RPGs and Western RPGs, I think it's worth the price of admission at $70 as well. However, if you are not into RPGs, especially Western RPGs, then I would wait for a sale. But I think it's definitely something worth playing. And the best part about it is, like, as somebody who plays a lot of RPGs myself, sometimes you want to get into those big invasive RPGs like your Baldur's Gate or your Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And sometimes you want to light experience something like kind of like junk food, if you will. And this is it, right? And it scratches that itch, and it's well worth the price of admission especially if you're an RPG fan. So
yeah. So shout out to Mark here. Appreciate the super chat. He says, I've enjoyed Avowed so much so that it's turning into a Game of the Year contender for me. If you look at the game on its own merit, it's great. I've spent more time exploring and finding cool loot 40 hours in. You know, I'll say this much, Mark. It is February. So if you want to say it's a Game of the Year contender, this is going to be one hell of a year. Not to say at the end of the year you're going to change your mind. You might not. You might be like, Mooch, you won't believe it. Actually, after that podcast, I played this game another 8 more times. That's fine. I don't know if it'll be a Game of the Year, but I'll tell you, it's a really good game. And Slow-Mo, listen, I'll show you a snapshot because a lot of people have been writing me. You know, I've been playing it on Xbox for a while. People, and I said it a million times. I said the game is good, not great, but good. And when you said that, I'm like, that's legitimately what I've been saying for the past week. Whether it be talking to people on Xbox Live or talking to people on Twitter, that's what I've been saying. It's good. It's not great. It's missing that great factor, but that what I think is missing doesn't ruin the game. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I played it yesterday, almost like stopped, had to do a couple things, had to do some work, this and that, and then went back and I played it again. I just kept playing it. There's something that keeps me going back, and I think it's the loot. I think it's the exploration. I think it's the amazing art that they do have in as far as the worlds. I'm saying that as art. I'm not a graphic designer, but nonetheless. Like, I just feel like there's a lot going on. When you go into different caves, it's not copy-paste. Jay made a comment about the AI. I do agree with that. But you're even seeing here on screen, if you're looking at the different footage. And by the way, guys, just so you know, and the audience knows, I had 5 hours I collected of footage. I'm going to have to get a new thumb drive or something. I can't actually, Slow-Mo, maybe you know about this, or Jay. When I take the footage off of the Xbox and then I put it onto my PC, and then I go through Adobe to make the short. Like, it literally is so grainy and like choppy. I can't get. So I'm assuming I'll say right now it's either the Xbox or it's my thumb drive that I have for it. But whatever it is, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna try another one out. But I had a bunch of footage.
Is this the first time that you've tried to get footage from Xbox?
No, it's been doing this for the better part of 2 years, but usually when I put it through and then it processes through what is it there? Geez, I don't even remember what is it? Yeah, it's Adobe Premiere Pro.
Adobe Premiere?
Right? Yep.
Okay.
Usually that cleans it up, but now it doesn't clean it up anymore. Like, whatever the output is that's coming through on the Xbox onto my thumb drive, it's not good. It's like, if I had it on the screen right now, people would be getting motion sickness because it's just like it's glitchy and it's just like pixels like popping in and out, and it's jarring. So it's not something I could put on screen. I don't know why.
I'll tell you what I do to avoid because, like, I think PlayStation has a better recorder.
It does
than Xbox does, but it's still not as good as what I get on PC.
No,
so what I do,
PC is the best one.
Is I move my consoles. If I'm going to record gameplay off of console, I move my consoles into my office, connect them through my capture card.
Okay, and
then I record it that way, straight through OBS, and then I get it. I'm using a external capture card to do that. I have a pretty good one. Elgato. I forgot the name of the whole thing.
You got the 120 one, the 4K 120 hertz, or
yeah, I got their latest external one. Is the one I have from Elgato. It's very good, and it can do all the resolutions and really good frame rate. So I record everything through there, and it looks like how the game looks. So
that's really, honestly, that's really
probably the best bet to go.
That's good information.
Do that instead of a thumb drive.
Yeah, the thumb drive is not working out. Go ahead, Detsinger.
He said very Game of the thing is, as much as I love Obsidian, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is still my early Game of the Year contender. Like, but that is gonna get nominated. But I think it's a bit unfair because this is their Witcher 3 moment. Like, the same way Witcher 3, like, no one gave a shit about CD Projekt Red with Witcher 1 and 2. Witcher 3 came out. Like, the cult fans, all of us, people who played 1 and 2, you're like, oh, this is good, but then like 3 comes out. This Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is their Witcher 3 moment. So yeah, it's nominated. It will be nominated Game of the Year, I would imagine. And then it's like it's my current Game of the Year. But Avowed is a fantastic game. It's a good game. It's not Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but it's not supposed to be.
Right. Right.
So I mean, yeah, I can. If it's your game of the year, have at it. It's just as much as big of a Obsidian fan I am. It's like thing is, I played Pillars 1 and 2, and it's not quite as good as those games. So I have to dock it on that. So.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this question here. Shout out to ArchWarAngel. He says, "I will give it a shot. Give it a shot, ArchWar. I think that this is one of those games where it's don't knock it till you try it. You know what I mean? It's one of those."
If you're comparing KCD2 to this, it's like the difference between KCD2 and this is the difference between, say, this is more akin to like a greasy Five Guys burger, and KCD2 is like a steak dinner or something, like a high-end restaurant. Now, they're both, sometimes you want a steak dinner, but sometimes you want a greasy burger,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's it, Wise. I think, you put it in terms of food, which makes me starving, but I got to tell you.
A Five Guys burger is pretty expensive. You basically need to sell a kidney. So
he's not wrong.
While you eat one.
He's not wrong. But it really is. It's kind of
Five Guys that get a combo and see what they tell you.
Yeah.
$49.99.
Yeah,
You be like,
exactly.
what?
Fast food restaurant that encourages you not to buy the large fries. Actually, that's
Just don't put nothing on the burger. You know what I mean? Just put burger in a bun. That's it. You try to put lettuce. You try to put
And
barbecue sauce.
And they'll still say $30, Barry.
it will.
Like,
45
damn,
you
I just
DoorDash
want-
that bitch.
Yo,
keep the bread. Just give me the burger. Just give me the meat. Pause.
I'm not even.
And then the
Go
french
in, grab
fries.
a bag of peanuts and run out. That's all I do.
It's funny. You guys said literally. I think a family of 4 or 5 out of Five Guys is going to run you. It's going to run you about $80, right? That's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy.
I mean, that's it's you can get but Jay or whoever said it was either Wise or Jay said basically you just get the small fry. They fill the bag. You know, it's a family
They
edition.
eat it fast because like
Or get a
the
large
fries
fry
get
and
out.
share it.
Oh, yeah.
Share it.
Yeah, eat it fast.
And
Right.
them fries get in at the bottom of the bag. The greaser eat through the bag, and then it just fall. Yeah.
Who's going out
Five
for a
Guys
burger
is
after
wild,
this?
man.
Don't be afraid to ask for your peanuts. That's your peanuts.
Oh,
Don't
shit! I
ask
take a
for-
full bag of peanuts
Exactly.
before I go. I take 2 bags. One when I come in, one when I leave.
I'm shocked they have the peanuts out like that. Like a lot of people are in my generation growing up, we didn't have this, but a lot of people have a peanut allergy. They got peanuts all over the place in that place.
Yeah, because they make it in peanut oil.
Yeah.
They don't use regular oil.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
God.
Kids these days are pussies. That's why.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh man,
There goes Wise. There goes Wise. All right, so let me go down the list here real quick. I told these guys we do an hour show. We're doing a 2-hour show. Death Singer. I'll just say we'll do a 1 out of 10. You don't have to. You can do you can do a point system as well. But give this game a number so people can start to put their mind around what we've said. We've discussed the biomes. We've discussed the weapons. We've discussed the depths of the skill trees. We've discussed the characters, the lore, everything. Where would you be as far as a number if you had to place it on there? And you like I said, you could say 7.2 or 8.8 or whatever you want.
I'd put it at an 8.5, but that's because there's a ton of references back to the Pillars games.
Okay.
If it didn't have the references, I'd put it at an 8. Because, I mean, 8 is where I'd put it. But it gets the 0.5 because of references, just because I enjoy the series so much. And, of course, those references delighted me inside. So it gets the 0.5.
That's
So
totally fair.
you beat Avowed, right? You beat it already?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind.
I'm procrastinating doing all the side shit. What do you mean? How do you think I found the roads?
You don't beat no games.
Oh,
yeah,
there it
I'd
is.
be absolutely no games. Yeah, that's true.
So you beat Horizon,
No,
then we
No, no. Same thing. Yeah, we beat games I actually like. But you know, hey, I mean,
So-
But you pirate games you don't like. Crazy.
I mean, to be fair though, I mean, when they turn the servers
I'm
off,
on your
and
ass, man. I'm
How
on
about
your
you?
ass.
How about you? Yo, jeez.
Barry, in fact, I'm actually incredibly smart because when they turn the servers off, I still get to have my games and play them. When
Come on
people
now.
go, my
Singer,
finger
just-
Oh, there
It's
it
when
is.
Horizon
There
Zero
it
Dawn. What
is.
servers are they turning off?
Just stop all this. Just go ahead, play the game, beat the game if you can. If you will.
Lord, singer.
Jay
Come
Barry,
on,
what do you got for me? Give me a number on this.
Well, you know, Mooch, like I said, I don't like to give a number to stuff that I didn't complete.
That's fair.
But
You can...
I would say that I recommend people giving the game a shot, playing it. Because like I said, I'm somebody that's kind of like on the outside. And I am enjoying the game from what I played. I would say this though, when it comes to the PC version, be very cautious on where you're playing it. You're playing it through Steam. Based off my experiences, I've had about like 5 or 6 crashes with this game, and it's like annoying crashes where it's just like, damn, I got to do this all over again. What choices did I make the last time? Oh yeah, I forgot. Let me just go again and do choices. But yeah, other than that, I think it's a pretty good game, and I'm definitely looking forward to completing it. I'll say that. Because even though if a game crashed like that many times for me, normally I'd have packed that joint up already.
Yeah.
You know, I did make my tweet saying that I want them to fix the game and maybe I'll come back. But there's times where I do be thinking about the game where I'm like, damn, you know what? I see somebody get this weapon. Oh, I want to get that. Let me play this more so I can get, you know, a little bit more deep into the world so I can start opening up and get some of these unique weapons because I'm liking the weapons.
The weapons are nice. They are nice.
Yeah, like I'm enjoying the game a lot, man. So I will recommend playing it. I don't like giving a review score.
That's all right. I feel
like we need to have a standard in gaming where if we can criticize reviewers for not completing games and still reviewing it.
Yes.
The same thing should apply to gamers as well, as far as like when we don't beat it. But that's just me.
Agreed. I agree.
So shout out to J Bar. J Bar, I have you down as he recommends it. Shout out to Lone Wolf. He says it won't win Game of the Year, but it's a Game of the Year contender for me. The only games that I think could dethrone it are Elden Ring, Night Train, and I think you're saying Borderlands 4 or Outer Worlds 2. Are we still?
Borderlands 4.
Are we expecting
the true Game of the Year comes out in August? So yeah.
To be honest, though,
there's a lot of games going out in August.
You mean Mario Kart 9?
No, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater remake.
Oh, absolutely not. But yeah,
I
will say though the Edge Worlds 2
don't like playing good games.
To be honest, the Edge Worlds 2 will be a better game than Avowed. I have a feeling.
That's going to be interesting to see how Outer Worlds 2 plays compared to Avowed. That would be that's going to be interesting to see.
I have a feeling Outer Worlds 2 will come out a lot stronger than Avowed. But
wait, you think Outer Worlds 2 will be better than Avowed?
Yeah.
Outer Worlds 1 was a Game of the Year nominee.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so because bear in mind, there's a separate team on that. So, I mean, we'll see.
To be honest with you, I don't think Avowed is going to be nominated as Game of the Year.
Oh, it's not with this year. Not with this year. No.
Avowed doesn't deserve to be nominated for Game of the Year, and therein lies the thing. You know, it's an 8.5 if you are into Obsidian games. It's a good game, and it's well worth the buy-in price, but it's not a Game of the Year. As I said, it doesn't do anything revolutionary. It doesn't even do anything evolutionary. It's just a solid game, and that's the best thing you could say about it, which is a good thing. And I mean, not everything has to be a AAA, as you said. Not everything has to be a Game of the Year contender to be a good game, and I think this is one of those things. It's just a good game, a solid game.
That's
all right, so let's hear this. SloMo, put a number on that. What do you think?
I usually don't like doing numbers, period, because I feel like people focus too much on the number, and I end up.
If you don't want to put a number, listen. I appreciate everyone. You can say whatever you want.
I did. I'll do it this time because I did complete. I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8.
Okay.
It's a solid RPG.
Okay, and so Wise, where are you on this? And then I'll give mine.
Yeah, I said 8 and 8.5. 8 if you are just not really into the Obsidian formula. If you like Obsidian and their storytelling, of which this I think is the weakest of their stories, still it's at 8.5, but it's an 8 otherwise.
So what's your number?
Hey Mooch, I gotta run. All right, guys, it was
SloMo,
pleasure.
thank you.
Sorry, my voice is awful right now, but thank you. Thank you. Next time, I'll be better.
Get your roots, man. Go and get you that rope. You know what I mean? Get you a nice little cup. Get your Robitussin DH and do what you got to do, man. Don't forget your roots, SloMo. That's your problem with you. You be forgetting your roots and where you came from. Don't get you that Robitussin DH.
He wants you to
yes.
focus on your roots. He wants the carpet to match the drapes. There you go.
Oh my God! All right.
All right. Well, with that, SloMo.
SloMo is getting old.
All right, bro.
So
Feel
All right,
better,
SloMo,
man.
get better, man. Get better. Thank you for being here tonight, SloMo. So SloMo not feeling great, still made it through the entire show. So Wise, was that an 8 or an 8.5?
Well, it's a weighted question. It's an 8 for anything else, and 8.5 if you like the Obsidian storytelling formula.
Nah,
So
I
Well,
need
no,
you
what
to
do you-
stand on business,
Yeah,
bro.
what are
I need
you?
to
What do
stand
you?
on business.
This is you.
Yeah, y'all be like, it's an 8, but if you like, nah, what is this? What if you're gonna give it a score? Give it a score. What do you think?
Okay,
the
if I'm
score
gonna
is,
give it a
man?
score, I'm gonna give it an 8. Let's put it that way. I'll give it an
there
8.
you go.
Okay, you're gonna
I'll
give it an 8. So
enough with
solid
it. If you like RPG, if you like, is it an 8? You like the game?
Yeah.
Talk to the people.
It's
man.
a solid 8. It's not going to win any awards, and it's not meant to. I don't think they even came out with the idea that they're going to win an award with this. I think it's a solid game, and I mean that's really all you could say about it. It's a solid game.
Well, that's what I would say too. And a shout out to Lone Wolf. He says also Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 isn't for me. Don't like life simulation stuff. Yeah, Lone Wolf, I hear you. Listen, I give all the credit to the is it Warhorse Studios? That's phenomenal, and that game is it's breathtaking. It's fantastic, right? But that's not my bag. That's one, like I was telling this to Jay Barry. I was saying this to the guys earlier tonight. You can't like everything, right? There's certain games this year I really can't wait to play. I'm really looking forward to Mafia. Honestly, I know SloMo had to leave, but me and SloMo talk about it all the time behind the scenes. I'm a big Borderlands fan. I can't wait for I know Borderlands 4 is just more of the same. It's legitimately more of the same, but I'm there for it. So that's one of the things. Ghost of Yotai, I'm there for it. Bring that game now. These are the types of things that I'm looking for. So this is a big year. You can't play everything, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I've seen it. It looks great. It deserves all the praise it's getting, but I would rather play Avowed myself personally than Kingdom Come Deliverance. I know a lot of people would say you're crazy. That's fine.
No, you're correct, because
people
people never played the first one, right? People who came into 2 didn't play the first one, because the first one, for one, it was buggy and had a bunch of issues, but it was still the life sim. A life sim game.
Yeah.
But I really loved the depth and what it brought to. Like, you're actually playing in this fancy world and you go really deep into it. And Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is that, but they fixed all the problems, but they still kept the good things about it. And now people going into... Oh, go on.
No, I said KCD2 and Baldur's Gate 3. They lean more heavily into the role playing aspect of role playing games. So you actually play a role in those games. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because Baldur's Gate is a D&D game, and if you've ever played D&D, it is role play nonstop. So of course, you have to play within it. But it's like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is definitely early Game of the Year contender, though. But if you don't like the life sim thing, that puts a lot of people off, and I understand because it's not for everyone.
So everybody on the panel had a rule, which I completely back up. Like Jay says, I'm not putting a number on this game because they haven't finished it yet. So Jay, and I've been listening to Jay and Persona for a while, so I kind of have over the years have subscribed to a lot of that kind of thought. So I haven't finished it yet. Like I said, I just checked the app. It says 27 hours. 27 hours in, and I'm still at the tail end of the last few things to clean up in the second biome. Then I'll be going into the third. Then there's the fourth. So I still have a good half of the game to play. I'm not really trying to go for 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements on it. I'm not. I just want to play anything that they offer me to go do a mission on. I'm going to take that mission. So the thing about the game for me personally, and I've waited a long time, I really kind of kept my mouth shut on social media about it, is I'm really enjoying it. Again, I think there's some simpler aspects to why I'm enjoying it, but it doesn't have that. It's not major. There's not a lot of complexity there. I even think that they did a really good job of your inventory and taking care of things and being able to scrap things down for other resources. They've made the upgrade system fairly simple to follow. It's not a very complicated system at all. But in saying all that and making it so user friendly, it's also very it's simple. So I'm right now. I'm between a 7.5 and an 8. I'm gonna wait till I finish it. I'll talk about it on Crossfire. It'll probably be next week by the time I'm done with it. I won't finish it by Thursday. We are doing Crossfire Thursday, guys. By the way, a lot of people were asking me in the chat. So 7 p.m. this Thursday, we are doing a show. But and it could very much, be an 8 at the end. If someone said, should I play this game? Absolutely. Absolutely. The 7.5 is not a bad score at all. 7.8, somewhere in that vicinity. I think that just because of the lack of complexity, it's very, it feels like a 360 game. Like Crap said it, a few others said it. It feels like a 360 game that has a much larger world, an Xbox Series X makeup kit on it. You know what I mean? It's that, and that's not necessarily a negative, but it keeps it from the mid to high 8s for me. So somewhere it's probably going to land around an 8, but that's where I'm at, and I definitely recommend it.
You know what this game could benefit from?
What do you got, Jay?
There's something that Horizon does a lot. The better game, where like say you're trying to upgrade certain parts of your weapon, or you're trying to add like the elemental skills or whatnot. You can put like a job assignment for that specific item. So if you come across it, or if you see in the store, let's say you forgot, oh yeah, this is the item that I need, it's highlighted already, and you like, if you go to it, it's like, oh, this is part of like a errand or a job that you already set up for. I think this game will benefit hugely from something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With all the weapons that you get, and especially like I'm going to call it enchanted weapons. I know that's not what it's called, where you can put the elemental skills and all that stuff on there. I think it will benefit greatly from that, because it makes it much easier to just manage or to look for whatever item that you want to get for that specific weapon.
That's a really good point, Jay. Because at first, when you first started saying that, I was like, wait, that's an option in this? And you're like, no, this game would benefit from it. I'm like, oh, okay, now I agree. I do agree. Again, I do want to say that I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it enough that I wanted to do. I was hoping to keep the guys here an hour and a half, and I think I kept them here for we're just at 2 hours now. So I definitely took advantage. These guys are fantastic. They're gaming. It's Monday night, by the way, guys. It's Monday night. Please hit that like button. There's 157 still here. I'll be honest with you, I was very impressed. Almost 250 people came or more. I didn't even see what the peak number was, but to come and check this out unannounced. So I want to say thanks to everybody. We are really ramping up. I said this before. I'll say it one more time. Twitch.tv. I saw 3 or 4 other people this weekend went over to Twitch.tv. It's Mooch TV over there, M00CHTV. Drop the O's for zeros. Shout out to Gaming with Persona. Thank you. He says, great show, Mooch. Appreciate that, Persona. But go over and follow me on Twitch. I'm dead serious. Like, I'm redoing the entire office right in the next 4 weeks, and I'm going to have the whole setup, so it's just a lot easier I want to be able to sit down, hit a few buttons, and stream. And I mean a lot. Like, I'm really planning to do a lot of streaming, more gaming, and, not take the emphasis away from Crossfire, but really want to start to play games. Like, when I do have time now, I want a game, not just getting set up for a podcast. So I'm very excited to see you guys over on Twitch. I hope you guys will come over. It's going to be very entertaining. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, so this game really, I've just enjoyed playing it, and I wanted to get a great panel here of people I saw playing it, people posting nonstop. I'm playing this game. I'm doing this and that, screenshots, their opinions. Some weighted heavily in one direction, some heavily weighted in the other. It was awesome. Just awesome. So very excited, guys. Like I say,